Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about visual components. Now, you may heard of the concept of components before. In many frameworks, you have some block of text here, block of content, and you want to use the same content block and everything, but you just want to change minor things in between. Like in this case, we have custom templates, we have AI powered analytics, the image is different, but the layout and the contents are largely the same. We just want to change these text and images. So how do we do that? The answer is components. So we're going to start. The components in Web Digital are a little bit different than the React components in the way that they're edited visually. So you don't have to code anything. It just makes it so much easier to use. So let's just get started. Let's just make this block a component. We're going to be starting with that. So we're going to say make component. And that basically says component card is added and replace the element. So if you look at it, we're right now editing the card component, and the content that we had is put inside it. So if you look at our content tree now, we see that we have the columns here, and under the column we have a card component here, which is a block, and the content underneath it is going to be dynamically rendered based on the component's definition. So if we come over here, we want to add an element. So we have multiple options here. We can add elements, files for images and videos, or we can do components. So if we come into the components, we now see our new component here. So if I come over here and add this component, you see it exactly replicates what we had over here. But that's not exactly what we want. We want to be able to customize these sections. So how do we do that? The answer is props and slots. So props are used to update basic values like text or numbers or certain Boolean flags. Those are like atomic values. Those are called props. If you are changing a content, so let's say we have like this entire section. I want to use this entire element as a prop, as an input to another component. That's called a slot. So we have a slot element that's going to be replaced within the component that's going to be replacing that slot that we give as input. All right. So we just got our card component here. We defined our card component, and we are using the card component as an element. So this is the component element that we're using. So if we edit that, in the settings of this element, you see it's set to use the card component. And right now, there are no props or slots. So in order to add them, we have to edit our component. So we're now editing our component. And when you edit the component, we have a few sections over here. Under JS, we have props. And the reason that props is under JS is because they're always used by JavaScript. And we're going to see that in a little bit. So let's come over here. We're going to be adding a prop here. So let's say we want to add a heading prop, and we're going to make this type string. We can add defaults. We don't have to. So we're just going to keep it empty for now. We're going to add another prop for the text that we have. Again, it's going to be type string. And the image, we can't add it as a prop. We have to add it as a slot. And the slot is added over here as in a separate tab. And we're going to make this image slot. All right. So this is fine. We now defined the entry points to the component, but we're not using them in the component yet. So let's just use them. So we're going to start with the heading over here. We're going to wrap this with a span, and then we're going to make it a dynamic text. So we're going to call this card heading. All right. So now, as you can see, because it's a dynamic text, it's using this function. It's generated by the component user component JavaScript over here. And you can see it's outputting the custom templates because that's what we had originally. Now, instead of that, we're going to be using this .props.heading, which is a common format that's used in React components. Now, as you can see, when I replace that, now there's nothing over here because we're returning the heading over here, but we did not set the heading for the component element. So now for the component element, I need to set it, and now it shows it over here. So we're going to be doing the same thing for the paragraph text, wrap it with span, convert to dynamic text. Let's call this card text. And you can see it generated another function over here. Now, instead of this text, I'm going to be cutting it. And then instead of that, I'm going to say this props.text, which is the one that we just defined. And as before, as soon as I use that, there's nothing because I did not set the prop for it. Now I go to the card component element and I set the text, and now we can see it. All right. So the image, like I said, that's a little bit different because that requires a slot. So we're going to be coming over here to the component. We defined it. If we look at the card component, we defined the slot over here, but we are not using it yet. So in order to use that, we have to convert this to a slot element. So we have to have a slot element within the card component. So we're going to be making a slot. We're going to say card image. So this is a slot element. So if you look at this, this is slot element. All it does is it takes whatever is passed in a slot and displays that. So in this case, we're passing in the image over here, and it's not showing anything because the slot's default value is to show this image as it is. So we're not seeing anything yet. All right, so let's try to use this component that we created now. So it basically has, if you look at our component element here, we have three settings, so to say, that we customized. One of them is the heading, the other one is the text, and we have an image, a slot image, that we're not replacing right now. So we can override it when we use it. So I'm going to be coming over here, and I'm going to add new element. So component, again, I'm going to be adding a card, but this time I'm going to be adding it right below the column, second column over here, and after the first block over here. Okay, so we added it, but we can't really see it. The reason is because this block is 100% height. So let's just reduce the height of that to something where we can see it. Okay, so as you can see, okay, this is the block element that we have currently, and this is the new component element that we have, card component. And we want to replace this card component's image with this one. So how do we do that? So we're going to be coming over here in the settings. As you might remember, we have the text, heading, and the image. So let's just set that real quick. So for the heading, we're going to be setting this one, AI-powered analytics, and then this paragraph. Let's come and set that one as well. All right. So now we have the proper text. So we need to change the image. In order to change the image, we need to set an image slot, and the way that it's defined is in the parents and children. So the component elements direct child is they can be used in slots. So we're going to be adding an image element over here, and we're going to be editing that. For the image, we're going to be picking this one, which is the same as this one. All right. So now I have the card component. I can now select that image, and voila. Now we have everything customized, and now we can get rid of this block. And yeah, so now we have two elements. If you look at the element tree, we have the card element over here, another card element over here. Their contents are exactly the same. So if we actually, let's say we want to add a list, let's come over here and add a list. And you can see it's appearing on both of them at the same time. And we can customize these through props as well. But yeah, so this is the way that, and you can update the other ones as needed. So just in the interest of time, we're going to be cutting here. But this is how you can set up the components and customize them with props and slots. Thank you very much.